Hey guys, thanks for joining me in another Q&A session. This one was delayed some, but I wanted to make sure everything was shown off so that I didn't get the questions that would just be answered a few days later. This Q&A is going to be a little different too. I've seen a lot of the same questions repeated, so I'm just going to answer some of the more popular ones. After House of Wolves drops, I'll be making a more in-depth guide to anything and everything that's new. Now, before I actually get into the questions, there's going to be a quick reminder for anyone who doesn't know. PlanetDestiny has a Twitch channel, and we've been streaming for a few days now. Tefty, Wally, Pope, and myself have all been on there, and there will be even more people on the channel in the future. I'm able to answer a lot of questions over on Twitch in real time, and you can see a different side of me that you don't really get to see on YouTube, so it's more fun and more relaxed. So make sure to stop by there if you want to hang out. Okay, starting off, let's talk about the latest patch drama, the 1.2 patch, which is coming before House of Wolves. The patch is set to come out on May 15th. The latest weekly update mentioned that it should be out in the morning on Bungie's time schedule. And for everyone asking if the expansion is going to be delayed, no, it is not. House of Wolves is still being released on May 19th, and will be active and playable sometime after 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Next question, will the new exotics drop from pre-House of Wolves content? No. The new Fallen-themed exotics will drop from the Prison of Elders. They won't be obtainable in old raids. And speaking of exotics, they will all drop with a base attack of 334 and then be upgradable to 365. The old exotics are still going to have the attack upgrade nodes too. You can check out the Ascending FAQ guide I did a couple weeks ago for all of the info about that process. And while we're on the loot topic, let's talk about Prison of Elders rewards. A lot of people have asked about level 28 and what exactly you can get from that. I know for sure that you can get the legendary Queen's weapons, which you can reforge to your liking. Also, I believe you have a chance at exotics. You can't get any of the in-game Fallen-themed gear from the level 28 mode though. When you're in the challenge modes, which are 32, 34, and 35, those will reward you the armor and the weapon cores that you can use to buy the in-game gear from Varix. You can do each of these difficulties once per week, so you could get a total of 2 weapon cores, 2 armor cores, and 2 etheric light each week from the Prison of Elders. The difficulties have separate rewards, so you'll need to do each difficulty to get all of the loot. You won't be able to do level 35 and then instantly get the rewards from 32 and 34, or at least that's what I'm led to believe. We did a video all about this, so watch that if you're looking for more Prison of Elders info. Now, switching gears a little bit, I've also gotten a lot of questions about engrams and packages. If you're wondering, should I open my Dark Below packages now or wait until House of Wolves drops, then listen closely. First of all, it's worth noting that your current packages or any package or engram that you have before House of Wolves is released will not reward House of Wolves items. Ranking a faction up after House of Wolves is released will reward you with a House of Wolves item though. However, that doesn't mean you should necessarily use them now. If you hold on to your packages until House of Wolves is released, you'll be able to gain a ton of extra reputation. Add your commendations to the mix, and that will help you get close to another reputation rank that much quicker. You could also use them now though and get some reputation to edge your factions that much closer. I also recommend that you hold on to the packages that you get for completing a public event once a day. These reward a decent amount of XP and are easy to save up at the Postmaster. They can easily be used as another huge source of early experience for your new House of Wolves gear. There's a House of Wolves prep article on our site that I'll put into the video description so you can see everything we recommend doing before the expansion drops. Next up, I'll answer a few questions by referencing the community wishlist topic that Deej made. For those who don't know, Deej has a topic that he updates about once per week, and he adds different community requests to it. As he says in the topic, these things aren't being promised, but they're definitely looking into this stuff. I'm guessing we'll see most of it when the Taken King is released later this year. On screen, you can see each of the requests that are on their radar. First up is transmogrification, or transmog for short. For those of you who don't know what it is, it would simply allow you to change the look of your armor without affecting its stats. Say you really like the look of the Vanguard gear, but you want the stats from the raid sets. Well, this would allow the armor to look like the Vanguard set, but have the stats of the raid set. Customization is huge in games like Destiny, and this has been something that's been on my personal wish list since the game has came out. Now that we can ascend armor in House of Wolves though, we might start seeing Guardians not all look the same. If they added transmog into the mix, then we would just finally have the option to fully customize our Guardians so that we can become a unique legend instead of kind of saying copycat as everyone else. Second is private Crucible matches. With the elimination mode coming, the competitive Destiny scene is going to grow a lot more. Adding in private Crucible matches would be huge, since we would now be able to organize tournaments and leagues easily. It would just help promote the longevity of the game, and I really just can't wait for that to finally be implemented. This should really be one of the highest priorities on their list. I know not a lot of people are into the competitive scene, but just being able to organize a game between your friends is something that you should do. Gunskins are another huge topic of discussion. We have reason to believe that this might actually be coming in House of Wolves, since a lot of the teaser images kind of hint at it. Once again, adding more customization options is just always nice. I've always hoped to one day change the lackluster color scheme on my Fatebringer to something more stylish, like my Hawkmoon. Next up, facial hair has probably been the most talked about topic since the alpha. People like beards, people want their Guardians to have beards. I imagine it's probably lower on their list of things to implement since it would require a system for people to change their way the characters currently look, and they'd have to make a bunch of interactions with the beard models and the current helmet armor, so I imagine it'll be a while before we actually see that. But hey, beards and mustaches are always cool. Next up, vault sorting options. Right now, sorting your vault is kind of like playing a picture puzzle, only the final picture is always changing. If we could drag and drop items, it would certainly make life a lot easier for those Guardians who like neat and organized vaults. For Crucible map voting, I guess map voting would be nice, but I don't think it's entirely necessary. I'd rather there be some type of algorithm that just makes sure you don't play the same map twice, regardless of if you're in a full fire team or not. I really hate seeing Shores of Time 3 or 4 times in a row just because sniping on that map gets so boring. Next up is an aim assist toggle option. It's been highly requested by a lot of the PvP crowd. Honestly, I think it would be funny to see how many people end up turning back on it, since hitting things without aim assistance is incredibly difficult with a controller. And with the amount of movement that enemies and players have in Destiny, this would be a feature that I will not be using if it's actually implemented. Finally, the stock on tower vendors has always been something I thought would make sense to rotate, even if it's changing up the perks or bringing in weapons from earlier on in the game. I know a lot of people want to see a devil you know instead of a devil you don't. This would be a great feature to make sure people have more options for weapon choices, and make it so people who are always logging in to check out new wares that the vendors might have. I want to end off with a reminder that we'll be streaming House of Wolves content as soon as it's available, and that we'll be inviting viewers to play as well. And also, I want to give you all the choice of what we focus on reviewing and doing videos on. In the comments, let me know what you'd like to see videos about first, whether it be Prison of Elders, Trials of Osiris, or whatever. Let me know what you're most interested in seeing. We'll obviously be doing videos about each new activity though, but I want to see where the most interest is. And make sure to tune in tomorrow, because right after Zur, the podcast will be up. I know a lot of you have been asking for more videos, but with House of Wolves coming in a few days, there's really only so much new stuff that we can actually talk about. Once it drops though, you can expect tons of content, almost everything you're used to seeing, and then some. Again, sorry this Q&A was so delayed, but I can't wait to play with you guys on the stream and look forward to all the new exotic reviews. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Patrick Casey with PlanetDestiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.
House of Wolves in general is going to make the Crucible experience that much better. So we're across the board doubling rewards, reps, mark, glimmer, engrams. We're giving players a new daily featured playlist reward package just for playing in the daily featured playlist. All of those things tie together to make the Crucible the most rewarding it's been ever.
When the Fallen sought to destroy us, I protected the reef.
The 5 new story missions take us on a quest to find and capture Skolas and bring him to justice. The reef opens. This is a new social space with new characters that players interact with. We have new story missions that take place across the different destinations. We have a new strike, which takes place on the moon in a fallen ketch. And we have the Prison of Elders, which takes place in a brand new environment that's part of the reef itself.
Widow's Court is the first time we're seeing what we call the European Dead Zone. Ancient crumbling cathedrals, small European city streets, great for long sight lines. It's an asymmetric map, super fun. Black Shield takes place on Phobos, which is the moon of Mars, and it's gigantic, it's awesome. Like, it's a symmetrical map, plays awesome for control and skirmish. And then Thieves' Den takes place on Venus, and it's inside an active volcano. And then there's Timekeeper, which is exclusive for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 owners. It is a small map, it's great for Rumble, it's great for skirmish. It takes place out in the deserts of Mars. There's crazy Vex architecture there that Guardians just don't understand what the Vex are doing. It really is an amazing competitive map.
The Prison of Elders is a combat-focused activity where you take on increasingly more difficult waves of enemies and culminating in a boss fight. There's a match-made version where every time you play it's randomized. You also don't know which modifiers you're going to get. Sometimes they'll help you, sometimes they'll hurt you as well. There's also something we call the critical objective, which appears in certain rounds. It's not only just about the combat with enemies, but it's about these extra challenges that we throw at you. And if you don't succeed, you'll wipe and have to start over. There's also a more difficult challenge mode version. Rather than it being randomized, we have a curated list of every round. And then there's a brand new boss for each of the challenge modes that has its own unique mechanics.
Even if you've never played Crucible before, the Trials is a really cool place to start. Bring in your friends. It's power enabled, so you want to bring your best gear. All those things coalesce in this really amazing way with our new game mode that's part of Trials. It's called Elimination. It's a 3v3 game mode, very intense, very communication oriented. It's round based, very short rounds, 2-minute rounds. When you go down, you are down until you're revived or until the next round takes over. First team to 5 wins. It's very intense, very competitive. We're really excited about it.
They will feel my wrath.
I can't wait to jump into the Crucible, jump into Trials of Osiris. For PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 owners, remember Timekeeper is there.
House of Wolves launches on May 19th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3.
Let the hunt begin.